All right, welcome to course 2 video for lesson 2.6. In this lesson, we're going to be learning how to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. Start out, in order to convert a fraction to a decimal, what you're going to do is you're going to take the numerator and you're going to divide it by the denominator. Once you do that, there's two types of answers you can get. One of them is going to be what's called a terminating decimal, which means the decimal stops. So quick example, 3.4 is equal to 0.75. As you can see, 0.75, it stops, it terminates. So 0.75 is a terminating decimal. Here, we'll do an example with the terminating decimal here real quick. So what we're going to do, remember, if we want to take a fraction of nitrogen in a chemical sample, it's 5/8. They want us to write this fraction as a decimal. So we're going to take the denominator and divide it into the numerator. So go ahead and try this one out. We know how to do division, so go ahead and try this problem out. Divide 8 into 5. Okay, so now that we've got that set up, let's go. So 8 divided by 5. We got to remember, 8 doesn't go into 5, so it goes in 0 times. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Do some subtraction. Left over 2, bring down a 0. So 8 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Left over 4. So we got to add in one more 0, it looks like. Throw in the 0. 8 divided by 40 is 5. So 5/8 written in decimal form is 0.625. The other type of decimal you can get is called a repeating decimal. This is the type of decimal where you get an answer. If you look like at this example right here, you have 5.35555 and the 5 repeats on forever. The way we would write that is 5.35 with a line, a horizontal line over top of the 5. Just put it over the 5 because it's not the 3.5 that's continuing, it's just the 5. If you do have more than one digit that's continuing, like this example, the 0.17171717, you would write it as 0.17 with the line over both the 1 and the 7. A common repeating decimal that you'll see a lot, especially in cooking, is 1/3, which is equal to, there's two ways you can write it. It's 0.3 repeating, or sometimes you'll see it as 0.33 repeating. All right, so go ahead and try this example out. It's write 5/9 as a decimal. So you're going to work it the exact same way as we worked the other one. You're going to divide the 9 into the 5, but this one's going to be a repeating decimal. Let's see what you get. All right, so if we take 9, divide it on into 5, we'll add our decimal places in. 9 goes into 50. Let's see, that goes in there 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45. Do our subtraction, and we get 5 left over. 0 comes down. 9's going into 50 again, so we divide 9 into 50. 5 times is 45. We have 5 left over. We can tell already that if we continue just dragging down zeros, if we keep bringing zeros down here, it's going to just be 50 divided by 9 over and over again. So we don't have to just keep doing that till the end of time. We can just write our answer is going to be 0.5 repeating. Something important to remember here is this repeating sign. You don't want to forget it, because there is a big difference between 0.5 repeating, which is 5/9, and 0.5, which is 1/2. Two very different numbers, So remember when you're writing these out, the little bar over the 5 to indicate that it's repeating is very important. Now that we know how to convert fractions to decimals, let's convert these decimals into fractions, or as it says, write each decimal as a mixed number in simplest form. So, what we're going to do, I'll do the first one, and then I'll let you try the 2 on your own before I go, B and C on your own before I go over. But if we look at A, I'm just going to look at the numbers after the decimal place. So I'm going to look at 364. If you look at the place that the 4 is in, that is in the thousandth spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 364 by 1,000. Now, I don't know right off the top of my head the largest number that divides both of those, but I know they're both even, so I'm going to divide both by 2. So that's going to be 182 divided by 500. Remember, we're getting the fraction into simplest form. 182 and 500 are both even, so I know this isn't in simplest form still, so I'm going to divide it by 2 again. So that's going to be, 91. That's what I meant to write. 91 over 250. 500 divided by 2 is 250. 182 divided by 2 is 91. And this is as simple as we can get that decimal. So now what we want to do is bring in that 1 that we had out front of the decimal. We had a 1 right out front of the decimal. We're going to bring that in and then just tack our fraction on to the end. So 1.364 in the fraction form, mixed number form, is 1 and 91 over 25, 250. So go ahead and try B and C out on your own. See if you can figure out how you would convert the decimals 0.48 for B into a fraction and how you would convert 0.6 in example C into a fraction. All right. For B, again, we're not going to worry about the 2 right now. We're just going to worry about the 4 and the 8. Since the 8 is in the hundredth spot, we're dividing we're going to try to put 100 into 48. Again, simplifying this out. Let's see, if we divide both numbers by 2, 48 divided by 2 is 24. 100 divided by 2 is 50. We can still, this isn't the simplest form yet, we can keep reducing. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And 50 divided by 2 is 25. That looks like it's in simplest form. There's no other number that can divide 12 and 25 besides the number 1. So this means this number right here equals 0.48. So now all we have to do, tack on the 2 to the beginning of it. So 2 and 12/25 is how you would write 2.48 in fraction or mixed number form. For letter C, let's go ahead and set that up. If we look at the decimal 6.6, we see 6 is in the 10th spot, so we're just going to put a 10 under there. If we simplify that fraction, divide both by 2, we have 3 over 5. So all we have to do now, tack our 3 to the front, put our decimal in place, or put our fraction in place, and there we go. 3.6 is equal to 3 3/5. Now that we know how to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions, let's try to solve this problem right here. We want to put these 3 numbers in order from greatest to least. So I'm going to take a look at these. And right now, all I'm really worried about, since all the numbers out in front are 1, I'm just going to worry about the fractions and the decimal. If I look at 3 over 8, I can see that's less than a half. I look at 7 over 15, and that's more than a half. So I already know, just looking at the numbers, the 1 3/8 is going to be a smaller number than 1 7/15. Now I need to see what is bigger, 1 and 7/15ths or 1.862. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert 1 and 7/15ths into a decimal. To do that, remember, we're going to take 7 and divide it by 15. So we know 15 doesn't go into 7 evenly, so we'll throw a 0 up there. But 15 does go into 70. Goes in there 4 times. 4 times, that'd be 60. Do the subtraction, bring down the 0. Then 15 goes into 100 6 times. So we do 6 times 15, that's going to be 90. Bring this right back on up here. 100 minus 90 is going to be 10. And if we bring down another 0, we can see that 15 divides 100 6 times like before. And from the looks of it, we're going to get 90, and then you subtract them, and we'll get 10, and this is just going to keep going on forever. So that means the fraction 7 over 15 equals 0.46 repeated. Therefore, if we tack on our 1 to the end, 1 divided by 1 and 7/15ths is equal to 1.46 with the 6 repeated. So now that we know how big that is, we can see 1.46 repeating, that is smaller than 1.862. So we're going to have 1.862 out front. So the order goes from greatest to least, 1.8, oh, there's a 6 there, 6.2, then 1 and 7/15ths, and then 1 and 3/8. That's all we have for you today. Good luck. We'll have some more practice in class. Make sure if you have any questions, you ask one of your teachers, and we'll get you what you need to know. Thanks.